I will show you a little bit of first impression on what is data wrangling, and from there onwards, I will explain to you what you can do with R Studio or then Python. And but before that, I am going to show you some examples of the use of data wrangling. So it's actually the two main functions of data wrangling is selecting and filtering. So there will be instances where you have a lot of data available, like for instance in this example of this Excel file, you have many available data rows. So for those who are fine with Excel, they might understand it straight away, but let me give you a little bit of an introduction. So if you think about data tables, where we call them data frames, if you have done pandas or Python data frameworks, maybe you are aware of these things, but in general, we have columns and rows. So the easiest way to visualize how a data setup or data sheet is comprising, you can identify them as rows and columns. So you have rows all the way up to the number that is available in your database, and then you have columns. So this is the same thing that works with matrices as well. If you are familiar with matrices, you have x and say ith row, jth column. We refer to a matrix in that way, right? So likewise, in a cell command also, in a set of data, you can find one particular data point as a reference from an address. Like you can have fourth row, and then this is the C column. Fourth row C column means this particular value. So we can refer to that. Now, when we think about the whole set of data available, then you may need to extract certain amount of data from this one. So in that case, you might need to have a certain logic behind it. For example, let's say that I need to find the people who are belonging to the department number 5. Say there's a let me zoom in and show you a little demo here. You have a number here, and then the employee name, salary, and department. So you have numbers here. Let's say that I want to extract students, people, employees from this list who belong to the department number 5. One way of doing that is you can select this whole thing and go into apply filter here, sort and filter, and then go for the filter command. If you press the filter command, you will see that there is a little icon here, drop down icon. You can drop down the thing and then select what you want. Now that is one way of filtering data. Say that you want number 5 here, then pressing OK, it will filter out all the rows that contains the department 5. And also, if you refer to this side, you can see that they are not in the same order, right? So order means you can have 2 here, and then 35, 34, 35, then you go somewhere around 59. So it's more like here, has happened here. You have filtered the department by department number, and then there's a level of filtering. Okay, so you filtered it by the department number 5, and then you can even go up to their salary. Then you can say that now I selected department 5 and I'm going to a salary, and let me go with a salary of let's say I want to pick this one. Now let's see what will happen. As you can see, because these salary values are integer values, in the case of salary, we will find floating values with the cents or decimal values in place. But here we have integer values only, and they have discrete value ranges. So when I pick 1 or 2, I'll get only 1 or 2, because those references are only exact, discrete references, right? So when I now, if I go to, let's say I have everything, and if I go to number filters, and then let's say greater than, and then I can give the salary is greater than a certain value. For instance, let's say I'm interested in people who have salary greater than 40,000, and even I can go for another command, but let's say, okay, number equals greater than, so most of them have greater than 40,000. So let's say, and less than is less than, so I want to filter out those 100,000 values. So I'm going to give 100,000 here. As you can see, some of the rows have vanished, and then you get new set of values. Now, this is part of data mining, because what we do basically is what we want from the data set. So you get into the data set. So let me explain it using the drawing here. So now I think I'm drawing right on top of it. So let me take it out and go for annotation. Now what I have done is, you now like, for some of you this might be very simple, but trust me, now if I go into the theory, the things will be a bit difficult to understand, but I'll show what happens. Now this entire ABCD row thing can be considered as an entire set. So how do we write an entire set? So this is the entire set. In this entire set, you have employee name. So employee name basically is an isolated set, or a mutually exclusive name. But sometimes you may have the same name. For example, James may be there. One James is there, and then there will be another James. So they are two different people, but the name is the same. So, but in case when it comes to social security number, or the number mentioned here, they are mutually exclusive, because one person can have only one number. Therefore, you have so many isolated instances like this based on the number, right? Let me show them like this. So refer to these boxes or these squares as isolated numbers. So this one little box here, or a cell here, indicates about James, and his number is this one, and so on and so forth. Now, inside this box, you have other properties as well. So the name is James, right? If I zoom into this one, the name is James, and then he has a salary, and he has a certain department, right? So when I select department number 5, what happens is all the, yes. Is there a question or something? I can't. Sorry. Hello. Is there a question? I can't hear you. Hello. Okay. I'm not going to force mute you. So if you are going to open the background noise and all these things, consider for the others as well, because I'm sort of focused on the screen, so I can't hear. And if you have a question, please raise your hand or something, or just direct the question to me. Don't make background noises. Okay. Right. I was explaining all this thing about. Right. So you have a cell, right? You have a different name, and there's a person inside this one. That person is there, the name and the salary and the department, everything is there. So when you select one thing, department, let's say you select the department, all the other things sort of disappear, and then only the department 5 will appear, right? Like this. And then you do another selection with the salary, where you give a range, and then you pick a certain set of people who have a salary in between those values, right? So likewise, you are sort of, if you think this one like a chessboard, you are kind of getting into the squares selected by you, somewhat bordering your selection. So this is the entire picture of filtering and selecting.